We might explain this away as human nature. No one wants to lose fame or fortune by addressing uncomfortable truths. However, moral negligence doesn't exist in a vacuum. If we believe there is a single creator who watches over human affairs, then overlooking large-scale injustice for personal gain or convenience can carry consequences beyond any scientific model. Skeptics can protest that these events are simply random, but isn't it worth examining if there's a deeper connection, one involving collective responsibility? The evidence-based mindset in me wants to chart out the data. The uptick in severe natural disasters, environmental degradation, and the colossal disregard for human suffering. Though we may not have a laboratory test that links a society's moral collapse to its downfall, the historical and scriptural accounts are strikingly similar. We see moral complacency, repeated warnings, and catastrophe again and again. We might try to magnify these events through news cycles or social media coverage, but consider the story in the Quran where God mentions the nation of Prophet Saleh. Only a few people were directly involved in killing the she-camel that was sent as a sign, yet the entire community, except for a handful, was destroyed. Someone asked the Prophet why the innocent were also punished. The Prophet replied, because they were content with what was happening. Tolerance of wrongdoing, especially when it is broadcasted 24 hours a day, even by silent approval, can have collective consequences. We also have to consider a rational argument for connecting moral failings to large-scale outcomes. Imagine a society indifferent to the suffering of children or the plight of the marginalized. That same society might disregard long-term environmental consequences, focusing instead on short-term profit or convenience. It's no surprise that those who close their eyes to injustice also ignore sustainability, creating fragile systems in infrastructure, economics, or ecology. Eventually, a sudden crisis, be it hurricane, wildfire, or social upheaval, tips everything over. So, what do we do in the aftermath of such devastation? Do we rebuild the same illusions, or do we pause and truly consider the possibility that there's a higher reality prompting us to change? The unchanged Holy Scriptures challenge us to see calamities as reminders, prodding us to correct our path. If indeed there is one Creator who governs all of creation, what does it say about us when we remain indifferent to the cries of the defenseless? Is there a point at which we, like those ancient nations, invite our own downfall by neglecting our obligations to each other?